Campbell Brown.
No bias, no bull.
CNN weeknights, 8 Eastern.
The world is watching President Obama this week. He is here in New York for this week's opening of the UN General Assembly. He also appeared on 5 Sunday morning shows over the weekend. He's on David Letterman tonight, the communicator-in-chief, just about everywhere you look these days. But is this unprecedented media blitz the best way to get a very serious message across and push his health care plan? And joining me to talk about that is Democratic strategist and CNN political contributor James Carville, Amanda Carpenter, a columnist for the conservative-leaning Washington Times newspaper, and Daily Beast columnist John Avlon here with me in the studio. James, let me start with you. 5 Sunday interviews, Letterman tonight. Does the president ultimately risk diluting the power of the bully pulpit?
Well, I mean, they're using different forums. I mean, I think they're trying to show him that he's really committed to getting health care through, trying to show the Democrats in the Congress that he's out there at front leading the charge here. And to some extent, right now it makes some sense, but you can't do this continuously and forever. I mean, it's probably a strategy coming back from the summer, and it seems to have helped a little bit, to be honest about it, and it's probably going to run its course here pretty soon.
But listen, James, to what Republican Senator Lindsey Graham said on Meet the Press this weekend. Listen.
He can be on every news show until the end of time. If he doesn't get Republicans and Democrats in a room and get off TV, we're never going to solve this problem. Fair point.
Fair point. I don't think any Republicans that are getting in a room with President Obama anytime soon, but if they did, I'm sure he'd have them there. But there is going to be a time when he's just going to have to slam some bodies up against the wall and not be on TV. And whether that time is next month or next week, I don't know. But before this thing gets done, he's got to break a couple of bones.
So, John, while this PR campaign is still underway, and why is it he doesn't seem to have any backup? I mean, why can't you put Joe Biden out? I mean, why is it all on the president's shoulders? Should it be? Is this the right way to approach it?
Well, I think that's the reality. President Obama is not only the best communicator for his party, he's the most popular member of his party by a lot. And look, in politics like sports, best defense is a good offense. I think getting out there and get the message is a good play. But it does belie the fact that he is far ahead of his party. The Democratic Party has real problems. And even among independents who've broken with his presidents on spending, on the growth of government, they like him personally. So there's really no one else who can make this case but him.
Amanda, as a conservative, if ultimately health care reform dies, if he's not able to make his case, I mean, couldn't this be a very short-term victory for Republicans, given the long-term outlook is likely to be that Americans will blame them for nothing getting done?
Well, there's already Republicans that are declaring victory over this battle. You can look at what Jim DeMint said at the Tea Parties. This is Waterloo, which he told a bunch of Tea Party activists, which they love. But I think there's this whole misconception that somehow the stalling that's occurred in the health care plan is somehow because Obama hasn't invested enough. He has been out there pushing this plan all summer long, 30-some-odd speeches and press events devoted just to health care before the 5-show media blitz. It's not because Obama isn't putting himself out there. I agree with James Carville. He hasn't been getting the work done in Washington, and I think that the only thing he can really do is maybe recognize what he needs to compromise on and find some good bipartisan solutions with the Republicans if he wants anything to get done.
So, James, where does it go from here? Bottom line,
Well, first of all, it probably is not time for him to do the hard work in Washington. I think there's 6 bills out of 6 different committees. They're obviously going to merge something, and they're going to have to get some votes, and they're going to have to do some tough negotiating. There's no question about this. This thing is as far along as it's ever been. But look, they're in the red zone now, and it's hard to get I use a sports metaphor, but they got to get it in, and it's, at some point, the media stuff can work so hard. But I think what he's doing is he's showing the Democrats he's really committed. I also think that the nature of the attacks on him, and this thing is mushroomed into something so much bigger than health care, has made it enormously difficult for Democrats to oppose him. I think that the ferocity and the nature of the attacks on the president are going to cause a coalescence of Democrats. And I sense that in conversations that I've had today. It is going to be almost impossible to be a Democrat and buck the president when this thing gets down to the nitty-gritty. It's going to be very difficult.
I think that's a really interesting point. I mean, the extremes do tend to reinforce each other. And here's a case where that might not be a bad thing. I mean, President Obama keeps saying that 80%, they agree on 80% in Washington. Well, if you let the 10% on either side just say, don't worry about them, focus on that 80%, get this ball down the field. Don't let the extremes determine the terms of the debate, which happens too often in Washington, too often in politics.
Amanda, I'll give you the last word.
Well, I'd be interested to see how Barack Obama can bring his party together in this health care bill. This isn't, right now he doesn't have a problem getting a bipartisan bill. He can't get a partisan bill. And so he has to solve that problem first before James Carville can start blaming the Republicans for where this health care debate is going, or the tenor of it, which is something Obama wanted to talk about yesterday when he probably should have been pushing his health care message.
All right, James.
My point is this, is that the Republicans are bringing the Democrats together as much as President Obama is bringing the Democrats together.
All right, we're ending it there. James Carville, Amanda Carpenter, and John Avalon joining us tonight. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.